Good morning, שפע ברכה והצלחה ושפשם של קדושים והטהורים. שופטים ושוטרים תיתן לך בכל שעריך. Judges and policemen you should put in all your gates. And on this there are so many explanations to understand what we're talking about. So first of all, let's see what's the meaning שופטים ושוטרים. Very simple. You need in every society, in order to have a good society, you need judges and you need policemen. Why do you need both? Very simple. If you go to court and the judge decides you're guilty and the punishment is this or that, there has to be a power that forces the punishment on the one who is guilty or the other side. And if there are no policemen to force it, says Or HaChaim HaKadosh, we don't need judges, because in this way the judges are like a cover-up for doing whatever you want to. Okay, yeah, you've got judges, they judge, they do, but really in the real world it doesn't work, because people are still doing what they want, and they know that if they come to the judge, nobody is going to force the punishment on them. So you need judges and policemen. And what is bechol sha'arecha? What is in all the gates? In all the gates, it means that normally what you should, in every town you had to have a court. And the place has to be something that everybody knows where it is. So it was in the entrance of the town and the gate. That's where the court was. Very good. Then we are now standing in Chodesh Elul, Chodesh Aslicha v'Rachamim, going into the new year. So some think this is the end month of the year. Yes, it's true. But it's also the entrance to the new year. And this is another sharim. Gates of the year, gate of the time. There is a gate of Rosh Hashanah, the beginning of the year. There is a gate of Pesach and Purim. There are also gate in certain stages in the life of every human being. There is the stage, the gate that the little kid goes to kindergarten. There is the gate that he goes to school. There is the gate he goes to university or to yeshiva. There is a gate when you have bar mitzvah. There is a gate when you get married, very important gate, and so on. So, gates, it's got a lot of meaning. And maybe the one that is more important than all the gates is the gates of the body. This is very important. What does it mean, the gates of the body? What are you letting in your body and what you letting out of your body? In other words, how do you use your mouth, your eyes, your ears? What do you listen to? What do you talk about? What do you put into your mouth? Where are you looking? And where you shouldn't look? Those gates are especially important in the gates of the year, which one we are now in the gate, in the entrance to Rosh Hashanah, to the new year. So you have to be very careful what we are taking in and what we should take out and what we shouldn't take out. For example, when you go to a secured facility, like for the army or anything else, you are required to leave everything out. Phones and other things, they check you that you're not going to have anything that you can take in. And this is exactly what we have to do when we go into the new year. To clean out of all the dangerous things. No guns, no sins, no terrible things, only good things go into the new year. And now it's the opportunity. There is this famous story. It's a real true thing, a real true story, but how does it connect to us? And the story is, there was this guy, and there are guys like this, that he is a collector. You know what a collector is? They collect things. I had an auntie that used to collect papers. It's unbelievable. Like half of the place was full with the old papers. Now this guy, he was collecting all sorts of things, junk and things, whatever he found in the street, he took it home. Eventually it came to the point that they couldn't even go home. Like the whole thing was blocked. He couldn't go in. So eventually they convinced him to take out all the rubbish that he was collecting. It was very hard for him. There were so many lorries coming to take out what he had in his house. Now, what has this to do with Rosh Hashanah? You know, when we look sometimes, on what we did, what we have done in this year. And so, wow, we did so many sins. How can we clean this? How can we do tshuva with all those sins that we've got? The whole house is full with sins. So God tells us, you've got a gate to go into the new year. Clean the gate first, then go on. In other words, you have a house and it's full with rubbish. And now you have a problem that also the entrance is full with rubbish and you cannot even go home, go inside. So at least clean the entrance so you at least can go into your house. Okay, it's all full with junk, but at least you're in the house and not outside. But if you won't clean the entrance, you cannot go in. I think there are Pinkus that gives this mashal. And this is exactly the point. We have now opportunity to clean the entrance and go in. After we're in the new year, then we can work out how we're dealing with all the other stuff. But first of all, clean the entrance. And here you also think, wow, it's not easy. Says the Rav Pinkus, there are two ways, let's say, main ways to do tshuva. The first one, go to the Rambam and read Ilchot Tshuva, and you see you have to do this, you have to do this. And the best thing is, if you are going to try to do the same thing that you sinned in. Like, you put yourself in the same position, and you go through it, and you don't sin. And believe me, when you ask, all Chachmei Musar will tell you, don't try it. Because only very, very special people can go through it. And you imagine to yourself something that you're very weak, that you know that if it's going to be in front of your eyes, you're going to sin. So, are you going to ask for it? No, definitely not. Says, "Betachbulot taseh lecha milchama." You have to be very clever for the war with the Yetzer Hara. Don't go direct against him, because you will not win. You unfortunately almost 100% will lose. So don't ask for a trial. Don't ask for things that God didn't give it to you, because he knows that you're not going to go through it. So don't ask for it. There is, of course, another way. And that's the best way and the easiest way. In Chodesh Elul says, Amelech Basadeh, the king is in the field. In other words, king, God is here with us. You know, he's always with us, but now is with us in a way that you can do and ask whatever you want, and it doesn't matter what you have done. Everybody has got the opportunity to talk with God. Or in other words, embrace God. God is opening this month his arms, and he wants to embrace us. And the easiest thing is, run to God and embrace him. Leave all the other stuff for later on. First of all, show God your love. Show him that you are understanding what's the power of Chodesh Elul. And the minute you do this, you are already in the right place, says the Rav Pinkus. And imagine to yourself a father that didn't see his son, the children, for a whole year. And he's eager to see his children. He loves them. He wants to see them. And they don't come to him, so he comes to them. And he comes to them and he's opening arms. My dear children, here I am. I'm loving you. I love you. And imagine to yourself that the children are turning them back and going on. Are you crazy? Run to your father and embrace him. Hug him. That's the proper thing to do. And that's what our Pinkus said. But if this you don't do, then you are in a really terrible situation. If we go through Chodesh Elul without thinking about it, without thinking of the love to God, and going on with our life like nothing happened, that's the most terrible thing. Because it's so easy. You don't have to go through the whole procedure of the Rambam, and you look at it. Yes, if you can, you try and do a few. Of course, you have to try and do a few of the things. But first of all, don't be afraid. Because what God wants is, first of all, showing that you're going in the right way. That's all. And going in the right way is coming, running to our Father in heaven and giving a hug. This is the gate of Rosh Hashanah. When we're talking about the gates of Rosh Hashanah, sometimes we don't understand the power of God. And this reminds me an interesting story that happened a few years ago. And this guy, he was a poor guy. And his children, because they didn't have money for good education, they went in the wrong way. And he was suffering and didn't have a house. Terrible story. At the age of 60, suddenly, he gets a letter that he inherits around $60 million. Did you hear me? Because 30 years ago, a distant relative, a woman that didn't have any children, any close relative, died, and she was a billionaire. And for 30 years, the investigator tried to find a relative that is going to get the money. And after 30 years, they got to him. So, of course, the first thing was, wow, I'm a billionaire. Pee, what an unbelievable thing. But then he started thinking, look what happened. I'm 30 years, I'm a billionaire, and I didn't know it. And I lived like the poorest guy. And I didn't give good education to my children. And look what happened to them. And look how I am sick, I'm ill from all the things that... And thinking, he died of a heart attack because of all the things he was thinking. So one of the great rabbis, I don't remember the name, said, this is a big lesson for us. All of us, every Jew is a billionaire. We've got billions. We are the children of God. But unfortunately, sometimes we don't know it. And we go on like poor guys from the point of from the spiritual point. We're going like poor people. And we're all involved in all the dirt of this world. We are poor with spirituality. We are dragging and going after all the desires and the lust of this world. And we all know where it leads, not to a good place. And then, when we think that all those years we had God as our Father, and He loves us, and we are His children, so the inheritance is ours, He wants to give us everything. If we understand this, don't wait when you're old and got no powers. Don't end like this 60 years old the 60 years guy that suddenly realized that he's a billionaire for 30 years. Take the message and understand. We have great powers. It says, who am I to do this, to that? We have powers because God gave them for us. God is our Father in heaven. And בדרך שאדם רוצה ללך מוליכים אותו. In the way that somebody wants to walk, God helps him. And that's exactly the thing of going in the entrance in the right way, in the right foot. Cleaning the entrance, going in with a few mitzvahs. But going in, first of all, going in. And when God sees that we're going in the right direction, בדרך שאדם רוצה ללך, מוליכים אותו. And this is something that we have to lesson. We have to learn. And when we're talking about this, I wanted to say something else. It's written in our parashat, Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. You shouldn't be, what is Tamim? Tamim is innocent, in a simple translation. So people think Tamim is somebody naive, that you doesn't know anything about this world, and you can do whatever you want with him. And there is a story about the Talmidim of the Chafetz Chaim Zatzal, that they left the yeshiva and went to do some business outside, and they went and they fall into the end of a crook and they lost all the money. They came back to the yeshiva and said to Chafetz Chaim, it's written Tamim tiyeh. Tamim tiyeh says you should be innocent, you shouldn't be believe in people. He says, no, that's not what's written. It's written, Tamim tiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. You be innocent with God. You be whole with God, not with people. With people you have to be careful. And the meaning of Tamim is whole. Like when you bring a sacrifice, it has to be with no damage, nothing. Tamim, whole, perfect. And Tamim is with Hashem Elokecha. The relationship between us and God has to be an innocent relationship. believing with no doubt, with no gaps. And this is Tamim. This is Tmimut. And if you want to see it even better, look. Who is the symbol of Tamim in the Bible? You know who? Yaakov Avinu. It's written, Ish Tam Yoshev Oalim. An innocent guy sits in his tents. An innocent. A naive? No. Was he naive? Was he innocent? With God. How do we see it? Because look at it. This Yaakov Avinu, he managed to deal with Laban HaRasha. He lied to his father. He tricked his brother. He wore the clothes of his brother, disguised himself, and took the blessing from his brother. And so on and on. So we can call this guy innocent? Doesn't know about life? No. He's definitely not innocent in the way we think. He's not Tamim in the way of thinking. But he is innocent in the way with God. He believes in God 100%. And he knows that everything is from God. And his belief is whole, is completed. This is Tamim. Is complete with no gaps, with no things that disturb it. This is Yaakov Avinu. In other words, when we see Tamim, it doesn't mean that we don't know anything about this world. On the contrary, the Torah teaches us everything. There was this great rabbi, I don't remember, the Rav Eliashiv or one of them, the Chazon Ish, I don't remember, really don't remember, that a guy came to him that he had to need an operation in his head. And he came to the rabbi, and the doctor didn't want to do the operation. He says it's too dangerous, it's impossible to do. And this rabbi, I don't remember who it was, sorry, he told him that he can do this operation and showed him on a paper how to do the operation. And this guy came back to the doctor. The doctor couldn't believe what was written on the paper. He says, is this guy that helped you, is he a doctor? He says, no, he's a rabbi. He's one of the big rabbis. He says, I cannot believe this. Did the operation and it was successful. And from this day on, he hung the picture of this rabbi on in his clinic for everybody to see. This is the power of Talmidei Chachamim. This is the power of those who are innocent with God, are whole with God, are completed with a relationship with God. They get to a point that they know everything. It says, Ben Badbag Omer, Afoch ba ve'afoch ba tekula ba. You go in the Torah, everything is in there. And this is why, especially now in this time, when we are approaching the new year, that we have to take care about our gates. And, you know, going into the gates of the new year, it always brings me to this, 2 days, yesterday I think, I read this paper that the municipality of Tel Aviv, the mayor of Tel Aviv, they want to synagogue that they are, the land is the Iriya's land. They want them to sign a contract that they will allow everybody to go into the shul from the neighbors. It doesn't what gender they are and what religion they are. They can all go into shul. When I read it, I couldn't believe it. This is the way to go into the new year? They says there's going to be no discrimination. Ah, you're crazy. Did we forget what happened 2 years ago on Yom Kippur in Tel Aviv? The row about the separation between men and women in davening on Yom Kippur? While, by the way, on Charles Clogan, there were the Muslims davening, praying to Allah, separated men and women, and you know who gave the separation? The Iriya. Yes. So, is this what we're looking for? No. And I hope that what I read is going to come, that is not true. And if it's true, they will regret what they did, and they will come to the senses and understand, especially now. And in those synagogue, by the way, is the synagogue of the Rav Goren, Zichrono Livracha, is the Rav Lau synagogue, and so on, of Samet synagogue, one of the most famous synagogues, that they are there for 100 years or something. Unbelievable. But we don't listen to this. We will put the right judges and the right policemen in our gates, in our personal gates. in the gate of the new year, and we go into the new year in the passageway and with wisdom and with the will to do the best and the good in the eyes of God. All the best and a beautiful week.